talking about grit goals. So when I read the book Grit, Angela Duckworth, would fully recommend it to everyone. Just turn down voice zone. I would go as far as to say it came pretty close to changing my life, if not changing my life. Angela Duckworth, Grit. But in that, she's a psychologist. She talks about grit being basically the number one factor or the number one predictor of success in pretty much any field, and it can be trained. But also setting grit goals for long-term, lifetime kind of success. So the grit goal is something that you need to watch. They talk about a lot. Is it has to be very long term, and it has to be something that is on a hierarchy. So it's that one overarching goal over everything else. Now you'll see kind of where mental health comes into this, for me anyway. But it has to be personal to you. So the grit goal for me, now you can write this out on a whiteboard or do whatever you need to do to work it out. Now a lot of people will start from the bottom and end up getting to the top. I already knew what my overarching goal. My number one goal, and this could be anything, for me is inspire. Inspire as many people as possible. But when we talk about inspire, like I want to be what Angela Duckworth's book was for me. And they're in a hierarchy of 3 things, and then it gets into subcategories as we go further down. So if we start on the left, and everything that I do has to lead into this goal. So that's the issue with having multiple different goals, overarching goals anyway. And that's why obviously this is quite a vague goal. It's not like snatch 150 or, be the president. It's one vague goal where you can work towards it with subcategories of different things. So we talk about coaching. So when I'm coaching, obviously that hopefully is leading to some inspiration for some people, and maybe I can be that kind of mentor figure. We talk about my weightlifting in itself. So possibly, reaching level of performance in that will help inspire people, hence one of the reasons why I do it. And then obviously also my specific mental health life and issues. And what we'll do is I'll just talk briefly about each category, and they'll work down into what I call the daily non-negotiables, so the things that I kind of have to practice daily, and they're just not negotiable. So if it's like, would you rather go to a party or show gratitude, it'd be screw off the party. This is more important to me, as an example. As a very, very, very kind of pointless example. So, coaching. I see it personally for me as a teacher and a mentor. So the teaching part, as a teacher, obviously that's where we're talking about actually educating. So whether that's on weightlifting technique or how to train or how to eat or how to sleep better, that's kind of the actually learning getting across your learning and your knowledge and your experience to your clients, athletes, students, and whatnot, with the goal to inspire them in some way. Mentor is a little bit different. That's what really differentiates a coach and a teacher, in my opinion. Mentoring is obviously, in a way, being a friend, but being a friend who can be, honest and brutal if needs be, to get the point across. Mentoring and trying to nurture people, through their development into what can be for them their top goal. Let me just move that there. So talk about my weightlifting in itself. So that can be me. So always think about how can I inspire. Always go back to the top goal. How can I inspire people through my weightlifting? Well, obviously through my coaching is one of them. So I coaching weightlifting, but also I think some of my lifters anyway, will look up to me as an athlete, as a weightlifter, to inspire them. And then also through my Erb's palsy, so through my birth injury, shoulder nerve damage that was horrific, and maybe it's inspirational, or I guess maybe it's stupid, picking the probably the worst possible sport for it and seeing how far I can get. It's one of those stupid kind of stubborn things that I did, knowing full well that this would happen, that it would obviously get hard and be painful and suffer a lot of injuries. Maybe in some way that can inspire someone, but at some point that will be seen as a struggle, and it's like, oh, he's managed to get pretty far. Like, even now, if I look at myself, I can be quite happy knowing that I came from obviously when everyone starts weightlifting, they come from a different place, everyone has their own issues. I came from a very specific issue. I don't know of any other weightlifter in the world ever who's had this issue, Olympic weightlifter. And I am quite active in the Herbs Palsy community on Instagram and whatnot, so I know a lot of the people and the big names. And then, in terms of my mental health, how can I teach people, how can I inspire people? And again, I'm quite grateful in a way that I've had such a wide variety of mental health issues. I haven't had all of them, obviously. I'm not trying to catch them all like Pokemon. But having been diagnosed with OCD and depression, gives me scope to inspire people with that condition or similar conditions, anxiety-based conditions, and also having psychosis, so more of a psychotic-based symptom, just kind of appeals to a whole different audience as well. So combining them together, I am trying at some point to see that as being useful for me to inspire the most amount of people, or not even necessarily inspire the most amount of people, but inspire people the most. Okay, so OCD and depression and psychosis. So they're all the subcategories. Now, the daily non-negotiables are the things that I need to do every single day, without question, non-negotiable, and that will lead into that. So my 3Gs: growth, gratitude, and grit. So growth for me means, now I've got arrows pointing to teacher and mentor, but really these growth can point to every single lower level subcategory goal. But I'll just keep it as it is as examples. So I need to growth as a teacher and a mentor. I need to keep pushing myself, keep learning as much as possible to be the best possible teacher, and also keep pushing, being a mentor as well, and keep trying to grow in that aspect. Whether that's learning again through other things, or speaking to other coaches for experience on how to deal with certain issues, and get across to the most people or as possible, or get across to people the most, which is one of my kind of sayings at the moment. Secondly, gratitude. So being thankful for the job I'm in, coaching. I do love coaching more than anything, to be honest. And being having gratitude that my issue with Herbs Palsy, yes, I've put in all the work, so I can't really say thank you to so and so because I literally did everything. But obviously, I am grateful for the midwife. Obviously, I'm not grateful for the midwife that pulled me out of my mum. Well, I am, I guess, because I would have died. So I have to be gracious for that. Obviously, I would have died. So I was in a life-threatening situation. But I'm grateful for the people that noticed it, and the physiotherapists and whatnot, and the doctors, and my mum. Similarly, gratitude has to apply to these two, because there were many times, I won't go into much detail in this video, but there were many times where I maybe wouldn't have survived. And that's obviously being literal, especially with psychosis, and getting myself in dangerous situations. Self-inflicted, obviously. And grit, finally, so you've got to have grit, daily grit, to get through these issues. They're big issues. They impact me a lot, the mental health issues, and I've got to show grit. I've got to show determination. I've got to show strength and keep getting up, even when life and whatnot hits me the hardest. I've got to keep getting up. And again, showing that grit will hopefully inspire people. Showing that gratitude will inspire people, and people seeing me actively trying to grow as a coach, as an athlete, as a person, will hopefully inspire people. And that's all overarching, leading to my main grit goal, which is to inspire. Hierarchy of needs. I would try and map this out for yourself. It does take a couple of attempts. This took a while to get to, but if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Send me a message, or ignore the video.